Okay, I know there's no way I can replace Bob. I've got no parenting skills, I'm not nearly as hardworking, and not even close to being a great cook. Even my stash pales in comparison. But if I want to be a burger master, I gotta learn from the best. So let's up our burger game with a Bob's Burgers Burger Book. The Bob's Burgers Burger Book Real Recipes for Joke Burgers is a collection of recipes based on all of the clever burger puns seen in the show. The book is written by the creator of Bob's Burgers himself, Lauren Bouchard, along with the writers of the show. In Bob's Burgers, there's a running joke where each episode shows a unique Burger of the Day special that's usually a corny burger-related pun. The writers meant for these burgers to just be jokes, but then somebody actually made a blog that actually tried coming up with the recipes to turn these burger puns to life. That somebody is Cole Bowden, and his blog recipes are the basis of what you're seeing in this cookbook, with a few modifications from two professional chefs to bring the recipes to their full potential. Now, flipping through the book, one thing is already breaking my heart. Where are all the photos? You guys already know how much I love my HD full color full page photos, so the fact that this book has zero kind of hurts my heart a bit. In their place is a lot of Bob's Burgers art and illustration, and the cool thing about them is that they're all original art for the book, done by artists from the show. So if you're getting this as a Bob's Burgers collector's item, then you'll definitely appreciate that. There are some recipes that have these breakdown drawings of the burgers, and I really like those, but those are only done for a handful of recipes. Each recipe shows the exact season and episode the burger recipe appeared in, and there's a short write-up explaining the makeup of the burger. I thought this burger book was going to be told from Bob's perspective, as a lot of these cookbooks try to stay in character like that, but these write-ups are from the show writer's perspective instead. I like that they throw in some humor in the recipe steps themselves, and I actually find the recipe steps funnier than the intro text for each recipe. Well, it's time to see what these burgers are made of. I'm going to make 3 burgers from the Bob's Burgers Burger Book, and maybe even some fries on the side. Did you hear that? Be very afraid of this burger because the cauliflower's cumin from inside the house. The star of the show here is the cauliflower. According to the cookbook, we gotta break this apart by wrapping it in a kitchen towel and smashing it until the cauliflower florets all separate. This truly feels like a scene from a horror movie, so I love how it fits the theme. After I released all my pent-up aggression, I checked on the cauliflower and only half came off. I tried smashing it a bit more, and apparently I gotta lift more weights because this is not coming clean off, so I just cheated and just handpicked off the rest. In a baking sheet, spread the cauliflower and drizzle with about a tablespoon of olive oil, then roast this in the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 15 minutes, take it out, toss, then pop it back in for another 15 minutes. Once done, place the cauliflower in a large bowl and add to that a half cup of whole milk, 2 tablespoons of chopped cilantro, and a teaspoon of cumin. Once our 3 C's are in, we're supposed to mash them all together until we get a mashed potato consistency, but for some reason, mine ain't mashing. Did I roast the cauliflower for too long? Did I cut them up too tiny? Or am I really that weak sauce? I tried and tried, but the only thing I can do now is just to try to liquefy it via food processor. I tried to add a bit more milk and butter to lubricate it a bit. I also added 1 teaspoon of lime juice, which the recipe calls for. It's definitely a lot less chunky now, but it's still kind of grainy. Less like a cauliflower mash and more like cauliflower rice. For those of you that make cauliflower mash often, please let me know in the comments where I went wrong so nobody else fails like I did. Let's move on to the beef patties. The cookbook has a whole spread dedicated to burger patty tips. It suggests to use high quality choice grade chuck that's 80% lean. Each recipe calls for a pound of ground beef, which should form 4 patties. Form the beef patties a bit wider than the bun because it's gonna shrink. Press the middle with your thumb so it stays flat when cooking, and generously season each side with salt and pepper. Cook each side for about 4 to 5 minutes each. Drizzle 2 teaspoons of lime juice while the burger is cooking, and finish it off with a slice of pepper jack and let it melt. Let's assemble the burger. Start with a bun, then a slice of lettuce, the burger with a cheese, a slice of tomato. Then we're going to add our cauliflower mixture on top. Not the consistency I want, but I think this is still going to taste pretty good. Do you know what these are? I did not know that these are called sit and spin, so I didn't understand why this was called the sit and spinach burger. The joke might have gone over my head, but this burger is going straight into my belly. In a large pot or pan, heat it over medium heat and fry up a teaspoon of minced garlic. When it gets nice and fragrant, add in a bag of baby spinach. Depending on the size of your pot, you might have to do this in batches. Keep stirring and cook them until wilted, then set aside and let it cool down. Once cooled, take the spinach and squeeze the liquid out as much as you can. These are going to be mixed into the burger patty, so we want as little moisture as possible. Once mixed with the ground beef, add salt and pepper and form into patties. Now heat up a frying pan over medium-high heat and add in 2 tablespoons of lemon juice and 2 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. We're going to be cooking our patties into this mixture to get them to absorb all those flavors. 4 to 5 minutes each side, and finish it off with a slice of mozzarella and let it melt. Let's build the burger. Bun, burger with cheese, tomato, some of the cooked spinach on top. Bam! Sit and spinach burger with a lemony vinegar zing. Looks promising. For our last burger, we have a Canadian-inspired burger, the Poutine on the Ritz burger. This is also another pun that went over my uncultured head. Now, to make our poutine, we gotta start with the fries. Since fries are the perfect match for the burgers, the cookbook has a section dedicated to making the perfect fries. The cookbook recommends russet potatoes. You can peel it if you want, but that's optional. I like the rustic unpeeled look, so I'm going with that. And I'm lazy. Cut the potatoes into sticks and bathe them in ice water for 5 minutes to reduce the starch. Then drain and thoroughly pat them dry to remove as much water as possible. Too much water is going to make the hot oil splatter all over the place, and we don't want that. Heat up some oil in a high-walled pot. The cookbook suggests to use peanut oil. Once the oil is heated to 325 degrees Fahrenheit, carefully place the potato sticks inside and cook them for about 5 minutes. Then remove them from the oil and let them rest on a paper towel-lined plate to cool. Then bring the heat up until your oil is 375 degrees Fahrenheit and double fry the potatoes for another 3 minutes. Once golden brown, place the fries in a bowl and toss them in with 2 tablespoons of black pepper, 2 tablespoons of paprika, and 2 teaspoons of cayenne pepper. There are 2 things that kind of concern me here. 1, that's a crap load of black pepper. I should have used less, but I already had the ingredients all ready to go as per recipe instructions, and I just tossed them in before I even realized it. And my second concern is, this pepper seasoning seems like it's Cajun style, and poutine usually goes on regular fries, but hey, I'm open to trying it out. On to the gravy. Heat a saucepan on medium-high heat and melt 4 tablespoons of butter. Once melted, whisk in 6 tablespoons of flour until it turns light brown and toasty. Then add in 2 cups of beef stock and mix it well. Then the cookbook says to add 1 tablespoon of black pepper. Again, this seems like a lot of black pepper. I wish I added less, but when you're cooking and filming at the same time, you get really distracted. I honestly think the cookbook made a typo here, but we're about to find out. You can leave the gravy like this, or you can slowly add another cup of beef stock until you get the gravy consistency that you like. For this burger, shape your ground beef patties and season both sides with salt and pepper. Cook them for 4 to 5 minutes each side until the middle is 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Then we build the burger with the bun at the bottom, burger patty, fresh cheese curds, and that luscious brown gravy. Top that off with a generous amount of crumbled Ritz crackers. I'm actually surprised the fries didn't make it into the burger, but we still have a nice plate of poutine on the side with the perfect combination of fries, cheese, and gravy, and that right there is poutine on the Ritz. Let's binge on these burgers, shall we? Let's have a go at this spinach burger. Hey, this is pretty yummy. Cooking the burger in lemon and red wine vinegar gives it a really pleasant smell and tartness. I also think it made the burger more moist because I think the spinach in the burger really absorbed all the juices. Again, the only thing I think this is missing is some sauce. Maybe some nice Dijon would do the trick. That's probably what I would add next time. Now let's try this cauliflower burger. It's not bad. You definitely get the feel of the cauliflower right away. It does feel grainy, which I don't mind, but I do wish I was able to taste this in the way it was supposed to be with a creamy cauliflower mash. The flavor that pops though is the cumin. Cumin just goes amazingly with meat. I feel like it's missing something though. I do really like sauces on my burger, and I feel like some mayo or mustard would have been nice. The cookbook does suggest to make each burger your own though, so feel free to add whatever topping you want. Okay, let's try the poutine. Oh my God, it's way too peppery. Not enjoyable at all. Don't be an idiot like me. Read through the recipes first and take note of all of the ingredients. If you sense something is off, don't hesitate to change it up. For once in my life, there's a plate of poutine I won't be able to finish. Now for the poutine burger, never have I been so excited yet so apprehensive when trying something out. I love poutine, but the copious amount of black pepper concerns me. Let's try it out. It's alright. Definitely very peppery because of the gravy. The cheese curds give it a nice chewy bite, but I don't think it's a very good match. The Ritz crackers don't really add anything to it since the gravy is already pretty salty, but I get that it has to be there to make the pun work. So, is the Bob's Burger book any good? From a cookbook perspective, I think there's a lot of room for improvement. The recipes look decent, but the lack of photos kind of hurts it. But I like that it's written and made by a true fan along with actual folks working on the show, and if you're really into Bob's Burgers, you'll definitely appreciate that.